If you're a senior right now, you're probably in the middle of college apps and the year is nearly half over. In this video, I'll tell you guys how to make the most of your entire senior year so you can have the best year possible and the future. And if you're not a senior, still keep watching because you're going to be a senior soon, and I think these are great takeaways for the rest of high school. So without further ado, let's get right into number one. All right, so first up, we have college apps. Now to this, there's really no trick. And honestly, luck is such a big element in this. So on that note, my first advice is to not have a dream school. I know that you might be aiming for one particular school for one reason or another, but chances are you are not going to get into it if it's very selective. And really, you want to choose a dream school after you have an options that have accepted you. You don't want to choose a dream school before you even have any acceptances, because that's just a great way to get super demoralized about the whole process. On that note, don't go into the college apps process blind. Even if you're not a senior, applying for anything or any long process, a lot of people just dive into it without properly learning how to do it. And this is a mistake. So I'd say spend about 10 hours right now. Even if you're like midway through, I think it's still a good chance to do this. Every weekend, research about the college apps process. Figure out what works, read documents, watch videos, and it'll really get you a better understanding of many tips and tricks that have been gathered throughout decades of college applications. Moving on with this is to create a system. You need to systematize everything because a lot of the time, college apps is numbers game. For personalized school-specific essays, you'll notice that a lot of these just tend to follow the same format. So create a base template for a really good personalized school essay. Mention some specific things at the schools that probably exist. So for example, for me, one thing I mentioned in all of my personalized essays for each school is the Formula Racing team. It's a college racing circuit and almost every college has it, but it's something very specific that I can mention that I like about this school, which I think does look good from a college ops standpoint. You know, in the end, I'm no college expert. I didn't get into Harvard or any Ivy League universities, and I'm definitely not going to be one of those preachers about college apps. I think college apps are one of the dumbest things in all existence. And part of this is also because at the end of this year, you're going to notice some of the most random kids in your school get into the most insane colleges while you may not, or maybe you will, who knows. At the end of the day, it's a very random process. I personally don't like college admissions culture at all. And I also believe that the field you're going into matters a lot more than the school. So for example, an engineering major from the lowest ranked school will still probably make more than a liberal arts major from Harvard that's out of graduation. That's not saying that either field is good or bad, but it does show that the subject you study matters more than the school. So if anything, I'd say spend this time when doing college apps also really making sure that the field that you're going into is something you actually enjoy. And seriously, come in with zero expectations. Treat the process like it's gambling, and I think you'll have the best mindset when you come out of it. By the way, I've been pretty active on my Discord server, so if you have any personal questions for me specifically, then make sure to join my Discord server, link in the description, and we can talk there. All right, now for advice number 2, you have 2 choices. In senior year of high school, you have 2 choices. Here's choice 1. Choice 1, after your college apps are over, you're in second semester, you do nothing. You waste away because you're supposedly a senior, you have senioritis, and you shouldn't be doing anything. You should be chilling, right? Now, choice 2 relates to a great mindset shift, which I believe you should consider. And I had this mindset shift, and it personally was very transformative for me. And it is how you view the concept of work. Now, most people I talk to, they view work as a nuisance, right? You go to work or you go to school, you get through it so that you can come home and relax, right? Or you get through the week so you can relax on the weekends. Or you get through the year so you can relax on the holidays. Over and over and over, your life is consisting of working just until you can have quote unquote fun. And I think this is a terrible mindset to have because then you're spending the majority of your life doing something that you don't actually enjoy just for the opportunity to do something you do enjoy. So now that in second semester, when you get here in just a few months, second semester, senior year is roughly 2 months away, just because you don't have a lot of work remaining for your academic classes doesn't mean you shouldn't work on anything at all. Work on something else meaningful that you can carry with you into college. Now, I want you to leave aside all college apps focus for this project. Don't worry about any impact it'll have on anything. Create something tangible that you can take with you not only into college, but for the rest of your life. A perpetual project or experience that you can even apply to jobs with. This is what I recommend that you guys start. A project like this. Personally, I started out my second semester of high school with a huge project, my Hypixel Skyblock SMP. For all of January and February, I was working on this. I was grinding even harder than I'd ever grinded on this project, and it was in my second semester. Now, ultimately, I failed. I wasted all that time, technically speaking, and the project did not take off. The server is now inactive. However, I don't regret the experience of starting something and working towards it. I think you'll never regret working towards something. You'll only regret not working towards something. And that's what happened. What I do regret is that after this project failed of mine, I spent the rest of senior year in a limbo, not really working on anything, and I just kind of convinced myself, oh, I deserve a break. I'm burned out, etc., etc. But no, I could have worked on something. I could have made something of all that time. So the main point of this is that just because you're a second semester senior doesn't mean you should do absolutely nothing. Embrace the idea that your work should be something that you genuinely care about, and it's not a bad thing to work. All right, now for tip number 3, I want you to spend absolutely all the time you have with your friends. Now, you may be in the mindset that these guys, I'm not going to see them anymore in about 6 months, but this is actually why you should spend time with them as opposed to not spending time with them. Now, I know this sounds obvious on the surface, and this is definitely more of a conventional advice point, but even still, the reason I'm saying it is because, especially in our gaming community, a lot of people just use their free time to just go on their computer and play video games alone. Don't do this. Even now that you have time in second semester, it's not an excuse for you to play more video games. Instead, if you don't want to work, spend that time doing actual things with your friend. Go to your friend's house and play video games with them, or take a long drive with them. Just literally hang out with them for the heck of it. I want you to spend more time with your friends than you spend with your family during this time. Now, this gives you a great chance to build your social skills before going into college, and it really forms lifelong bonds with your friends. The friends that I spent more time with in second semester, I think I will genuinely never forget them. It's just impossible. They're that much a part of my life. All right, now for number 4. If you study for anything in your senior year, study for your AP exams. Now, if you haven't already, you gotta take AP classes in senior year. Okay, in senior year, your teacher will likely be pretty nice, and your classes will probably be dialed down a bit, so you'll have lots of opportunity for redemptions or retakes. Now, the only reason to take AP classes in senior year is for the AP exams. And if you don't know what that means, it's similar to IB, right? AP, IB, pretty exchangeable. You might be scared to take AP exams or refuse to take them because, I mean, who wants to work on AP material in their second semester of senior year? But this ties back to the mindset shift I mentioned earlier about your mindset regarding work. It's very counterproductive to live your life with the intention of minimizing work, right? A fulfilling life to me means working towards something meaningful, and nothing is meaningful if it doesn't take work to achieve. So by extension, a fulfilling life is a life where you are working towards something. Now, the reason you want to study for AP exams specifically is because they let you skip tons of classes in college, including some stupid GEs that cost you thousands of dollars. Now, to figure out which AP exams will let you skip classes, you'll want to go to the AP score sheet of your colleges that you're interested in. Pretty much all of them have similar requirements, so even if you don't know what college you're going to, still search up a few. Now, you'll want to search up your university name and AP transfer policy. This will likely take you to a PDF where it will tell you the AP exam, the score you need, and which class it lets you skip. Now, based on this, you want to identify exactly which AP exams are going to help you skip a class and which ones are not going to help you skip a class. And for those AP exams, I want you to actually study for them. If you thought high school classes are hard, college classes are harder. And not only this, each college class literally costs you thousands of dollars. This means that you need to skip the maximum possible college classes while in high school. If you can skip something in college, skip it. It is not worth it to take anything in college that you don't have to. Now, over spring break, instead of doing absolutely nothing because you're a senior and you have senioritis, quote unquote, you gotta lock in over spring break. Spend that entire week grinding for your AP exams that matter. And this can save you literally an entire quarter or even semester of classes in college. To me, that's a worthy trade-off. I did this and I was able to skip 4 entire classes when I got to college. That is literally over a quarter's worth of classes. So if you study for anything, study for AP exams, get a high score on them, and you will not regret. Speaking of studying, just saying, but you might want to study that subscribe button. Is that button red for you? You might want to make that gray, and make sure you're subscribed for best of luck on all your AP exams this year. All right, now lastly, for tip number 5, we have choosing a college or a profession. Near the end of this year, after everything's said and done, probably in March or maybe even May, you will have to choose your college. You've put in all your applications, so much work you've put in, and now you hopefully have a few acceptances to consider. Here is my honest advice for choosing a college. You know that US News and World Report ranking you probably probably looked at when you're applying, I want you to completely ignore it. Seriously, I think rank is complete BS. And for this decision, please ignore it. I got into several quote-unquote high-ranked schools. I got into Pennsylvania State for mechanical engineering. Apparently that's ranked high. I got into a school called RPI, and I got into some other highly ranked schools, quote-unquote. Now, the thing is, especially for a STEM field, you want to choose the place that is the cheapest and where you'll be the happiest. Choose a place where you know you can fulfill your potential. A place that makes you demotivated and really not excited to work. It doesn't matter if it's the highest ranked school in the world. If that school demotivates you, you're going to get less out of it than a school that makes you happy and motivated to improve. It's just a fact of it, right? Because anyone from, for example, like Harvard or Princeton can spend 4 years doing nothing there and come out in a worse position than someone who went to a much lower ranked school but actually grinded because they're motivated to grind by that school, if that makes sense. For me, I ended up going to UC Santa Cruz, the Baskin School of Engineering, and even though that school is lower ranked and quote-unquote less prestigious than my other options, I've loved it so far, and I really think it's a great fit for me personally, and I do know that I'm fulfilling a lot more of my potential there than I would be at another school. Now, similarly, if you're not going to college, which I do understand many of you aren't, please consider the environment and the surroundings of that location, because as much as you might not consider it, it plays a large role in your future success. Wherever you are, if you aren't able to put in your 100% personal ambition there, it's not going to make a difference. So yeah, I can personally say that senior year was one of the best years of my life. However, that's not because I played way too much Minecraft or slept in on the weekends. That is not what made that year memorable. The only reason I find senior year memorable is because of the work I did, or because of the unique things I did with my friends. So if you're a senior or will be in the future, my one takeaway to you is to embrace work, because there's a lot of it coming. Nothing happens in the world without working. So work and have fun. And thank you for watching.